Hello. Today I want to address a topic that often triggers emotions, but of course, this should instead invite honest and critical thinking. This is not to attack any religion or any kind of faith, but just to make history be revisited. The question is simple: Is Christmas a biblical thing? The straightforward answer, of course, should be a no, a big no. Now, let me explain calmly and clearly. First, the Bible never command Christians to be remembering or to be celebrating the birth of Jesus Christ. And of course, we all know that he was born, but the motive was not about being born, because actually being born is more of kind of human nature. But I think God was having any other extraordinary thing about the scenario. So there is no instructions nor directive and no example of early Christian observing such a day. So, for instance, in the Christianity history, there has never been a celebration of this kind of celebration we are seeing in the December 25. So, for the first 300 years of Christianity, there was no Christmas celebration at all. When we say 300 years of Christianity, it means that, and by the way, Christianity just came because of Jesus Christ. Before then, there were no Christianity. What was there, which was called the Judaism and the likes, because this thing of gospel was only for the Israelites actually, but the us Gentiles are those people who are non-Israelites. By then, they were nothing like Christianity. But since the arrival of Jesus Christ, now the two were bonded together to come up now with Christianity. So we are saying that in 300 years of Christianity, there were no celebration of Christmas at all. So early Christians focused on the death and resurrection of Jesus, not his birthday. What is point trying to imply is that the Bible was really concerned about the salvation that Jesus was to bring to the world, but not the physical or biological kind of being birth or such kind of things. So therefore, birthday were largely viewed as pagan customs. As you may see, there were some of the empires, like the one for the Herod and the likes. So those kind of birthday was associated with some bad things. So you remember the John the Baptist. John the Baptist was killed as per the request of the Herodias' daughter. So, which means birthday is more of bad things according to the pagans. So, now that we can relate it to Christianity, it brings some confusion and some uncertainties when it comes to celebration or festivals is concerned. So, therefore, in this case, furthermore, so where did Christmas then come from? This Christmas thing kind of thing came from where? So history tells us that the first recorded celebration of Christmas occurred in Rome around 306 AD during the reign of Emperor Constantine. So as you can see, in this case, in 306 AD, that is after death of Christ, that is where now the through the kind of the king of the day, that is the Emperor Constantine, instructed people now to start observing this 25th as a Christian or, I mean, as a church celebration to memorize the part of Jesus Christ. So, therefore, that is more than like 3 centuries after Jesus lived. So, as you can see, it's like in the fourth up to sixth generation is where now those things happened. So, therefore, the choice of 25th December is more of personal a kind of thing. It is not based on scripture or anything, but it was just decided by the church. So another thing that we should also consider in this case is that it was chosen because it coincided with a popular Roman pagan festivals, especially the Saturnalia, and the celebration of the unconquered sun. So if we bring back our history down before the era of Jesus Christ, the paganism in this case refer to people, those people who don't believe. I mean, they are not based on any religion, but they just on their own. It's like a convention, a traditional kind of beliefs. So in this case, therefore, they used to worship or to celebrate this day in honor of their gods and goddess. In this case, we have the one called Saturnalia and the other one which was called Unconquered Sun. That is why even in the order of the days of the week, they assigned a name. Actually, each and every name seems like this representing different kind of gods. So actually, the days of the week, that is Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, up all the way to Sunday, are assigned based from those Roman gods and goddess. So therefore, as you can see, the word Sunday. So Sunday was dedicated actually to this Saturnalia and the one which is called unconquered sun. So the church strategically adopted an existing festival season and gave it Christian meaning to his conversions. Okay, so what this simply means is that during those eras, there were many pagans as compared to Christians. And since Jesus came to save the world and bring salvation, maybe some people somewhere in the church sat down and decided that since this day is being commemorated by many people, let's also bring the celebration of Jesus Christ in I mean in the same day with that day, so that many pagans may convert, or we may have many people converting to Christianity. So in the process, therefore, that law was passed, and it was then put into place that each and every year, the 25th of December, everyone or every Christian will be remembering the part of Jesus, in a sense that so that the pagans may, or may at least get to be converted to Christianity. So, therefore, some may ask, does that mean Christian is wrong? That is not the point. My point actually here is that I'm not against the Christianity, but I mean the Christmas thing, but the issue is we should know, actually look for the facts surrounding that kind of festival. Because actually we have many festivals, but indeed we have to know the root cause of each and every festival that we are celebrating. Okay, so the point is, Christmas is a church tradition and not a biblical command. So if you read across all these scriptures, you will not find any scripture emphasizing or stating that 25th of December is a day to celebrate the birth of Jesus Christ. No way. There is no such kind of scriptures. But it is only that it is a church tradition. So you should distinguish between the church tradition and 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 uh, and the biblical doctrines. So the Bible and the church are two different things. And in fact, even I think that the term church was later introduced in when the Bible was translated to English versions. Otherwise, from the origin there, the word church was not even there. So which means some other things were decided so that it might be easy to coordinate or to direct the congregation in church. So Christmas is one of them, one of those principles or beliefs that are set by the church members or the church leadership, so that it might be included in their theologies for the future studies. So therefore, so and there is a difference between now the faith and the tradition. Something can be meaningful, something can be cultural, something can even be helpful to some people. But that does not automatically make it biblical. Let me clarify this point here. So we are not saying that Christmas is bad or something, but we are saying that depending on how you are taking this day, or depending on what you have, the choice of your work in this day. Because I like some people the way they're making this thing, visiting the sick, feeding the poor, and doing all those kind of things which are for kindness, which is indeed very important as compared even to other things. So we must not maybe rebuke this day just simply because it is not in the Bible. But sometimes maybe the things which are designed or decided in the church may be for the betterment of the members. Not only that it must be there in the Bible, but maybe as long as it is culturally important to the people, then I don't think there is any big issue on that. So confusing tradition with scripture weakens the faith rather than protecting it. If you choose to celebrate Christmas culturally, that is your personal choice. But honestly, the honesty demands that we acknowledge the truth. Christmas did not originate from the Bible. That is the fact. Yes, that's a fact, my friend, because if we lie to ourselves that the Christmas came from the Bible, I think we are lying to ourselves. But the fact remains that it never emanated from the Bible, but from the decision made by the church leaders in accordance to their theology or the kind of things, or for the I mean, so that they can align with their doctrines or their theology at the moment. That is in Rome. That is Rome in Italy. So again, something which I must also say is that faith should be a strong. It should be strong enough to face history. Truth does not fear examination. So we should not be fearing that, oh, somebody is saying against our own belief or such kind of things. No, all the kinds of belief should be subject to examination or cross examination, so that we may find the source or the origin of anything that is being celebrated, uh, either as in religious perspective or even in any other form of festival in that we have in our history. And that is the end of my revisiting of history, where the Christmas is concerned. Otherwise, thank you so much for those who are celebrating. Make sure you are doing anything good for humanity. For those who do not observe, also know the reason as to why that day is not in the Bible, and that is also your choice. So thank you so much.